Hi there. Welcome to Studio Movie Recap. Today we going to recap drama romance film, Redeeming Love. The movie starts in England. A lovely little girl named Sarah first encounters her father, Alex Stafford. Sarah was very excited to meet him for the first time but finds out that his father never wanted her. She was a mistake. Sarah's mother was advised to abort the child but she refused, and her decision caused them to live miserable life. One day Sarah and her mother decided to flee and escape the abuse from Sarah's father. They sold all their jewelry to have enough money throughout their journey. They traveled with a boat and May was a prostitute who paid for the journey by sleeping with more than 50 men a day. One day she got ill. Before she passed away, she told Sarah that all men want is sex from woman. This caused Sarah to shell her feelings and hate men. A few years later, Sarah was left alone with an alcoholic man named Rab after May passed away. Rab couldn't raise her since he had no money, so he looked for a place for her to live. He went to a place that is seeking for young girls. A woman welcomes them at the door and advised them to leave and never return there. Rab didn't listen. He continued and went upstairs with her. Upon welcoming Sarah and Rab, Duke, the head of the home, strangles Rab in front of Sarah's eyes before dumping his lifeless body and spills alcohol on him. Duke lets Sarah know that he has given her the new name Angel and that he has a lot to teach her. She became Duke's source of income by doing prostitution and sleeping with bunch of men. After spending roughly 10 years with Duke, Angel finally manages to get away and aboard a ship for California. The movie then shows Michael, a humble hard-working farmer who lives alone. He prays to God for a wife that he could share his wealth with and that he could spend his life with. One day in town, Michael sees Angel while visiting Paradise to sell fruit. He immediately fell in love with her. He believed that she was the woman God wanted him to marry. He was shocked to learn that Angel is a prostitute, but his feelings for her didn't change. The following day, Michael pays lots of money to see Angel, hoping he will make her fall in love with him. He told her that he doesn't want to sleep with her. Instead, he loves and wants to marry her. Angel found that funny and thought he was crazy. Michael didn't lose hope. He kept paying money every day to see her and to prove how serious he was about her. Angel ended up believing that maybe she is really worth more than just being prostitute and went to her owner to tell her she wants to quit. Her employer was furious and sent a hitman to beat her up so she knows that she is nothing without her. One day Michael discovers Angel almost lifeless after the bodyguard had brutally beaten her. He learnt that Angel is owing money, that's why she can't leave the brothel. Michael paid all the amount she owed and asked her to marry her right away. He proved to love her regardless of her looks. Angel didn't love her, she just wanted to live, so she accepted her proposal. He nurses her back to health at his home, despite Angel treating him poorly. Michael continues to surprise her as he claims to love her as his wife, and refuses to have sex with her when Angel feels obligated to. Angel was afraid to trust him, so she runs away at her first opportunity. Michael chased her and tried to convince her to come home where she belongs. Angel returned later that night and Michael gave him food he prepared for her. He then massaged his feet so she can feel relaxed. Angel was not used to be loved. She felt like she owed him something. She tried to pay him with sex but Michael refused, showing once again he does what he does because of love. The following day Angel decided to approach Michael and tell him that she will try to behave like a proper wife. She helped him with everything. Chemistry was starting to develop between them. They fell in love and Michael was ready to make love to Angel, and they did. It was Angel's first time to sleep with someone without expecting to get paid after. Michael's widowed brother-in-law, Paul, lost everything and needs job to start up. So he went to Michael for help. Michael was very happy. He updated him that he's married. When he showed him his wife, Paul immediately recognizes Angel as the expensive prostitute from town. He thought Michael doesn't know and Angel is taking advantage of him. Paul mistreats Angel and tells her that she's not good enough to date his brother-in-law and threatened to expose her. He went to Michael to expose her, but this just infuriates Michael and ends up punching him. He made him understand that he loves her besides her past. He demands him to respect her. While Michael is out working, Angel decided to run away from Michael and return to brothel, believing she's not good for Michael. She chased and asked Paul as he was going to town to sell the fruits of his labor back in town. He agrees to take her with him. Since Angel didn't have money to pay him, Paul wanted her to pay him with herself since he always has fantasy to sleep with her. But she was too expensive for him to. After they had sex, Paul is disgusted by her actions even more and hopes that he will never see her again. When she gets back to the brothel, She discovers that another prostitute named Mai Ling have both passed away and that the palace has burned down. Another man who also owned a bar offered her a place where she can become prostitute again. His deal was that it was going to be a partnership and they were going to split the profits 50-50. She started working as a prostitute again, making more money this time. Michael chased her once more and was furious when he discovers her in a room with a customer, and the two fight their way out of the intoxicated pub where the men are waiting to see Angel. He took her back home. She feels a deep sense of shame at her uncleanness and tried to hurt herself while washing. Michael told her that he can't stop loving her, so that's a pain he had to pay. Angel was moved by Michael's love for her but cannot see herself as worthy of it. She decided to try again and act like a proper wife and help out. One day she experiences the same joy and pleasure as Michael. It frightens her. Angel travels with Michael as they visit Sacramento in search of supplies and fabric for new clothing. They encounter the Altman family, who are trapped on the side of the road due to a broken wheel as they make their way back to the valley. Michael invites them to stay at their cabin and assists them in fixing their wagon. Angel tells Mrs. Altman and her 16-year-old daughter Miriam that she met Michael in a brothel and is shocked to see that they do not view her with contempt but rather with sympathy. As they grow closer, Miriam starts to develop feelings for Paul, who lives at the opposite end of the valley. The Altman family decided to settle into a little cabin in the valley near Michael's farm. One day Angel decided to free herself from the guilt. She informed Michael that she is barren and cannot have children. Even though Michael loved the idea to have kids one day, he still chose to love Angel regardless and didn't stop loving her. Angel didn't feel like she deserved Michael's love. She decided to sacrifice her love for him, by leaving him for good this time to give him chance to love another person that can give him kids. She runs away once more, this time to Sacramento, where an elderly man selling pots offers to drive her. After Michael found out she refused to run after her, he believed that if she really loves him she will come back. This time, Angel goes back to San Francisco and accepts a position with Virgil, a kind man who owned a cafe. He hired her as a cook at his cafe. She did good job as a cook. The other man who never had chance to sleep with Angel started to hate her new job. After several months of hard effort, the cafe burns down, destroying all of Angel's savings and belongings. After the cafe burned, Angel went back to take what's left. She recognizes Duke, the man who she ran away from few years ago. Angel was supposed to return to her life as a prostitute under Duke's control as she was owing him money. She was set to enter the stage to entertain man, but as soon as she's on stage, she decided to betray Duke and reveal that he kidnaps young girls and using them as sex workers. Everyone was shocked by this, but Duke pulled her back to the room and informed people that she's lying. He took her to the room to kill her, but just before she does, one of the guys from the stage saved Angel. She fought with Duke while she was escaping with the other kidnapped girls. When the Crows saw the kidnapped girls, they went crazy and killed Duke and his accomplice. 3 years later, Paul was shocked to see Angel after a long time. He saw her with a man and assumed she was still a prostitute, decided to go to where she was to confirm, but instead, he found out it was a boarding house with bunch of girls. Angel understood God's love for her and welcomes Christ into her heart. When she decided to ask her for the reason she left, he gets shocked to find that Angel left Michael with the intention of causing Miriam to marry him, so that they might have a family and kids. Her entire life falls apart when she learns that Paul is the one married to Miriam and that Michael has been waiting for her for 3 years. She no longer feels justified in staying in San Francisco. She ultimately decides to return to Michael. She unexpectedly appears in the field where he is working, crying and kneeling at his feet as she witnesses the tremendous pain Michael had because of her. She admits her love for him. She told him that he's the only man she will ever love, and promised to be faithful to him. She told him that Sarah is her real name. Michael, who is also in tears, embraces her and expresses his belief that the reveal of her name is a promise from God that they would someday be able to have children. After few years, Michael and Sarah had 4 kids, and Michael finally had the family he prayed for with the love of his life.